Hello, I think I'm live. Okay, so today I am trying something slightly different. I am standing up and hopefully I will have a little bit more energy. I just want to try different things to make it a little bit more energetic because I felt like that kind of behind the scene is that I talk softly but in front of, especially in front of cameras. But, there are times that I'm just really passionate about what I say, but I just not quite able to convey it. But here you go, we'll try that. So, I have this urge. I've been not going online as much lately. One time is I just couldn't get on Facebook Live for some reason, so I did a recording, but I didn't post it until about a week after the recording. But then I was like, well, what should I really talk about lately? I'm sort of kind of running out of ideas, but there are times that I have the spur of the moment, but I didn't write it down and I kind of let it go because I was in the middle of something. So I need to do a better job writing them down or just get on and talk about it right then and there, even though I was in the middle of something, because when the insights come, it's hard to stop it. And then afterward, it's hard to get back into that particular feeling and then the mode. So the reason I wanted, what I want to talk about today is really, I had this conversation with a friend recently, and we were talking about that how our lives is always running on the same pattern. It's like you you were being carbon copied, or you run your life through a copy machine, and then it's the same thing happen again and again. What I can say is that, and I'm sure I've talked about this before, it's like your situation and people around you might change, but you're still feeling the same inside. And so you could have changed jobs, you could have moved around, you could have got yourself some new friends, new partners, new home, new everything, right? New pets. After a while, after the excitement is gone, you go back to feeling the same crap inside. Of course, like, we don't have a problem feeling happy all the time. Um, Maybe we do, but that's not such a big issue. A lot of us are dealing with unhappiness, unfulfilled, feeling lost, uh, not having the clarity, not sure what we're doing here on earth. You just felt stuck. You're like, okay, you did everything that you could, that you can think of. Life doesn't change. A lot of the pattern, one of the most typical example was you could have gone through different partners, different faces, same thing, same dynamic between you and the partner. Face look different, but the same thing. They treat you the same way, you treat them the same way, you felt the same way within the relationship as if you were just with the original partner. You thought you have moved on, only to find out years later that you were the same place as you were. I stayed with a family before, and one of the aunts, I think at that time, was, yeah, she went through 3 spouses. Every one of them ended up to be abusive. I didn't know anything at that time. I was like, okay, so why did she make that choices? I was young. I was in my teens and just didn't really understand why. It's like, well, that's not very smart of her to be picking the same type of partners, right, and for life. And not until I started diving into my spirituality, the journey, and all the stuff, then I realized, well, it's actually really, really hard for us to change our pattern. Just think of yourself on a hamster wheel. Like, I would think myself on a hamster wheel. I don't mean to degrade you to be a hamster, but just think of yourself on a hamster wheel, and then you're moving so fast, running so fast, and it's impossible to change the wheel because you're on it. And then as impossible to change the route. It's impossible to change the pattern because you're just moving it so fast and you couldn't really stop and get off, right? So the key is to really how to get off the wheel. And the reason I tell you all this is because I've done all that too. I was so miserable at, quite a few years ago. I actually moved across the globe 3 times within a few years. I thought I was doing myself a favor for changing the situation so that I can be happy. I can have a brand new start. That takes a lot of energy. And every time, yes, there's excitement, there's anxiousness, there's all that. But after, when it's all and done, you started assessing the situation and your inner self, your emotion, and you realize, oh, those feelings that I was trying to run away never really left me. And then it's actually becoming stronger and stronger. So what I have done all this, I've moved, I've this, that, quit my job, none of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what the heck is wrong with me? Like, is it supposed to be life? Is that supposed to be part of life? But nobody seems to be talking about it. That's one of the things that I was so mad before. It's like nobody was talking about how to deal with your emotions. And so I was just searching and searching. I didn't want to take that as a no, that like, well, that's supposed to be life and you're supposed to settle with it. No, I did not. Like, I kept searching. I just didn't know. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I kept searching and searching and searching. And finally, I came across one of my coaches right now, the best coaches, and she taught me a technique. And ever since then, I started working on myself, and it was just amazing, like how much my life has changed and how much my perspective has changed. Don't talk about my life, like how much my perspective and change. And that when I am going back to the same situation as before, I did not feel that same frustration. I didn't feel that I was having like the same triggers. I didn't feel like I was unhappy the same way. Things still happen, like, because there's constantly, we're working on and clearing, in my opinion, the lessons keep coming up in life so that we can address it, right? But I was not knocked down by those emotions, those frustrations, those feelings anymore. I have learned that it was the number one things that hold us down and make us feel really, really heavy as a being, an energetic being, right? As a being itself, it's our fear. Fear, in my opinion, by far is the number one thing that is holding us back. I cannot tell you how many numerous fears that I was carrying with me. Fear of speaking up, fear people don't like me, fear of I fail, fear of I would drown, fear of being harmed, fear. I mean, like, you can just keep on talking about it. Like, I spent quite a while just like every time it will have a new fear coming up, I was like, oh my gosh, like it just keep on going. But the thing is, that's just part of life. And if you know how to take care of your fear, then you wouldn't be a hostage, right? Like, if you have the tools, you have the skill sets, you have a higher consciousness to understand why this is coming up and what it's showing you and why it's showing you, then you're fine. Like, that can keep on coming, but it wouldn't knock you down at all. I mean, I wouldn't say at all, but it wouldn't, like, you have the tools to get back up like right away, right? So this is how I become. I started believing in my power, because I used to go from very powerless, feeling that, well, there's nothing that I can do to change anything, to now, like, I have the tools, I have the skill sets, I have the consciousness, I have the awareness to position me to be in the empowered place, so that I started feeling that I can do this. Life does not, we're not brought to this life only to suffer. And I think a lot of people believe in that. That is something that kind of trigger me in a way, that we don't ask enough. Like, we just say, like, well, life is supposed to be hard, money is supposed to be hard, like we were all being trained to believe that nothing comes to us easily. And there is a reason, there is a reason why we're not being taught that how powerful we are, how powerful our mind can be. And at the end of the day, a lot of times it's a mind game, also. And my friend also said that it's a mind game. It's all up here. All our power, it's up here. Yes, we have physical power. It's important for us to work out and all that stuff. But it's our physical, it's our mind, our consciousness, our awareness, and all these intangible things that make us strong. I really think that, lately I had a realization is that what's the difference? Okay, everybody has a different definition on being successful. And so I don't know what your successful definition means, but like we call, let's say, as a society, we define successful people and the normal people. What's the difference? They're human, they might have more money in their bank account, but what is the difference? Like, I think time after time, I listen to what they say. It's their mind, the power of their mind, because very disempowering thoughts, frustrating thoughts also shows up for them as well. They have self-doubt. They have fear. But you know what? They know how to manage it so that they can rise above them. For the regular people like me, before, we never taught how to deal with our emotions, our thoughts, our self-doubts, so we were easily being knocked down. Like, you will have this brilliant idea, you go to your parents, or you go to your partner, or you go to your manager, and then they shot you down. Time after time, it's like, oh, okay, so I guess I'm not meant to be whatever, whatever the successful, that your ideas is never meant to come to life. But the thing is, there are a couple of things, how you're giving your power away. If you are only wanting and seeking external validations, you are totally giving your power away. Right? I've done that many, many, many times. I'll have this brilliant idea, I thought nobody buy into it, and I thought I was such a failure. But you know what? This is what I'm going to tell you too. My experience was, there are times my ideas were not validated until years later. A good example of a home. I was so close to buying a home about a year ago, decided not to last minute. Turned out it was the best decision. Right? I won't go into it right now, and I had to tell my husband, I said, it was such a good idea, not at that time, for us not to own a home. It's stress-free and worry-free. Right? So a lot of times, and if you think about people that, create an iPhone, launch a rocket, what do you think their ideas? Do you think the mass majority would agree and buy into their ideas before they made it happen? No. There's only one or two people out there, right? So actually right now, my position is, the lesser the people agree with my ideas, it proves that my idea is actually maybe spot on, maybe it's what is needed. It's just that the mass majority has not caught up to that idea yet, right? So here's the thing. I just got off, like, a couple of hours ago, I was listening to an astrology update for the rest of the year. And it actually sounds very interesting. I use the word interesting, it's because there are a lot of changes coming on. So what they were saying, January, beginning of January had a lot of crazy energies going on. And if you recall the news, you will know what I'm talking about. So those kind of energy will repeat, like, I swear, it's probably 8, 9 times throughout the year, and for the rest of the year, and more coming. And we are actually going through some drastic changes coming up. And for me, I'm not too worried, because I feel like, I could still, it would probably still hugely affecting me, but I'm not anxious. I'm not like sleepless. And I want you guys to experience the calm as well, the peace, the calm that you are taken care of, that, someone that's out there, up there watching over you, instead of being in the panic mode all the time, right? And it just really, like, to me, it's really important for you to have the peace at the end of the day, every day. And when you are, like I said, the number one weight that we carry, energetic weight that we carry, is not your physical weight, but it's our fear. There we have other stuff, but I felt like, oh my gosh, I just have an infinite amount, like, number of fears that's hanging on to me before. And when we were all carrying those fears, you cannot see clearly. You cannot make the decision that was the best for you, because honestly, you're overruled by your fear. And it's not that hard to let that go. Many times, what I notice for myself, and I can see it for other people too, is that we know that something is not going well in our lives. We want to change, but we don't know how. And the reason we became frozen, and I'm still doing that a lot of times, I was like, well, nobody showed me how, I don't know how to do it. So not knowing the how can be stopping you from going to the life that you want to go to, that you want to create. Can be a roadblock, a serious roadblock. And I'm here to guide you, to help you, to show you the way. I'm not going to do it for you, but I want to show you the way so that you can find the path that is the most peaceful for you. You can start feeling more hopeful, feeling more fulfilled, feeling that you are not here to suffer, that like your dreams are not too big or too small. Like, I don't even know how often you think about your dreams, right? Sometimes we think, oh my gosh, it's like a crazy dream that nobody will believe in me, they will laugh at me. So we just kept it to ourselves. I sure had that. I once told it to a shaman, and all he said was, well, that's your ego talking. But the thing is, I still have that dream, that vision of me 10 years later, 8 years later. I don't think that would be my ego if, my inflated ego wanted to do something, it would have probably changed to something else. So, first of all, don't let other people to take away your power. But it takes time for you to start slowly getting your power back. It's not like overnight thing, right? For typical people, for normal people. But it's step by step, and I am willing to hold your hand if you are ready. And I have been on this journey for a long time, for a while. And the easiest thing for me is to hide. If you know astrology, I'm a Virgo sun. I want to do behind the scenes stuff. I never really ever want to put myself out there. And last month, I was like going back and forth. And I finally decided, if I don't do this, if I don't put myself out there, I'm going to die with regret. And I know that is the one thing that I would not be able to forgive myself. I mean, at least on deathbed, if I don't try, if I don't make a fool of myself, whatever that you want to say, right? I want to make myself be available. But it was really, really, really hard for me to put myself out there because I don't have much of the Leo energy. So I like to be behind the scene, but again, that's going to eat me up alive. So I might sound silly to you. If I don't resonate, don't listen to me. It's so easy for me to just hide. But I keep telling myself, if I can just help that one or two people, perhaps that really need to hear this message, and my help and my guidance and my wisdom, I'll be really happy that I put myself through this. Maybe just a handful of people that they are ready. I know that right now, maybe not a lot of people are ready, but I think that more people are waking up. More people are realizing that what are they doing? That's not the life that they want. If you have any of these kind of thoughts that you ask yourself from time to time, if you want to change your reality, you want to change how you're feeling on a daily basis, reach out to me. We can schedule a complimentary clarity session. And then we can talk about this and see how I can, if I can help you with that to get a better clarity, really lift to your highest potential. It's time. It's time for us to really decide for who we are, the lives that we want to live. We're done being told what we can do, right? And just one exercise. When you were a little child, do you remember what your dreams were? When we're adults or when we're getting older, a lot of times we were taught not to ignore our dreams and do something practical, to get a stable job. I was definitely told that, get a job that you can have a paycheck, a regular paycheck, right? But it might never be something that you really wanted to do. I've heard a lot lately that, you call it kids or whatever, they would tell me that they want to go into business because they want a lot of money, because they want fancy cars, and because they want this and they want that. What they're missing is what their hearts want to do. Money is a byproduct. You can make money doing many, many things, right? Different industry. But what is it that you want to do that we were never given the space to think about, to introspect? In its time. That happened to me, and my husband's the same way. We both picked a major that was very practical, can have a good job, be a professional. We're not even halfway our career, and then we were already thinking, I was like, back then, even years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is it? I didn't give me the fulfillment. But if I can help you to get on a path that's more aligned to your soul, that is what I was born to do. I really believe that. And, get you off your hamster wheel, to help you let go of your fears, right? So that you can start seeing who you are at the soul level, right? And the year is going to be more intense, and you want to have the tools to prep you for that so that you don't get caught off guard, you don't get anxious, you don't get panic attacks. The world is changing for the better, but every change, it's super uncomfortable. And I was actually sharing that with a friend. And I've heard that before. The change is uncomfortable, right? And but the pain of not changing, or the pain of being stuck, when it's greater than the pain of change, then people will start taking action. Think about where you are now. I think that a lot of people might not be happy, but the fact that they are willing to settle and put up with it will just make them stay at where they are at. They are willing to be unhappy. They're willing to be talked down. They're willing to be whatever their reality is. But for me, my pain of being stuck at one point of time was much, much greater than the pain of change. And hence, I took a leap of faith and I just started searching. I moved. I moved across the globe 3 times in a matter of probably 4 years, 4.5 at the most. I never regretted it, but I understand that not everybody will have this opportunity, especially right now. And I can save you a lot of time, energy, effort, money, right? And you can be, I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm not asking you to change your job, or nothing physical. The work that we do together, it's all inner. It's all the intangible things, right? You're on your emotional level and your root cause. I am the person that always love about the root cause. I don't want to spend all this time fixing the symptoms. I'm not that type of person. Like, I want to get to the root cause, do it the efficient way, practical way, fast, hopefully, right? So if you're really ever resonated with it, reach out to me and we can talk further. If I can be of any service, I'll be so happy and delighted to. And I will leave you with that, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.